So I've got this bowl that I made from 2 layers of the GR forms, and I've coated it with a white underglaze, and I've pooled water in the center. It's been bisqued. Now I'm mopping up the water. Trying to make it as even as possible. Little sponge is deteriorating. I've cut the dots, and I'm just going to place it down more or less in the center there and dab it with my sponge to force the moisture through the dot. And then I've got this cool tool that I'm going to go over the dots gently so that I don't tear the tissue, but hopefully will transfer all of the underglaze. I've had a real problem with the underglaze not transferring to the bisque. Been working on lots of different ways to get the dots transferred. I first tried it on greenware, unfired clay, and that gave me dots, but it didn't give me nice crisp ones. And it could be that I just didn't try hard enough, and I will explore that idea again. But meanwhile, I've got all of these bisqued pieces that I'd really like to put the dots onto, and so we'll see what is happening. It looks like, well, a lot of it looks like it's transferring. It also looks like the dots are drying out. So what if I spray and get this thing wet again? Okay, it's very wet. Have to be even more gentle now because it's quite wet. And if you rip through it and keep rubbing, you wind up with a rub spot in the middle of your dot. Ask me how I know. At some point I will lift up a corner and take a peek. I think I was about to this point when I was going through before. So let's see. Yeah, see, some of them are pretty good, some of them not, so I'll put it back down and push it over to where I lifted it. I'm just barely touching it here to put the tissue back down, and we'll rub some more. Try and get that transferred. This has been really frustrating. I had this great idea, you know, a wonderful design with big dots and little dots and red dots and white dots, and I have not been able to get the dots to transfer the way that I want them to. But keep working on. These dots came from Plum Island Transfer, and Melon Allen has been working with me to try and make it work. She has had some trouble with the white dots transferring, and so we keep trying together, and between her expertise And my muddling along here hopefully will figure out what the problem is. Obviously, I want to go back to transferring to greenware because it's much easier. It just didn't, maybe I didn't work at it hard enough before I fired them. And, you know, it's only clay. I could just toss them all and start over again, but I'm stubborn like that. Let's see, do we have any better results here? Definitely better. Still a few spots that need to push again. So back down we go. Should I spray it again? Let's spray it again. Because the water is what's needed, I think, to make it leave the paper and go on to the clay. Oh, this one looks pretty good as I am just going around those spots that look dry. Maybe should have done this on time lapse so you wouldn't be sitting here watching me do these one by one. Boring, I know. But this is the life, you know, a lot of it's tedious. Immediate gratification is not what the potter gets. I suppose a raku potter gets some level of immediate gratification when they take it out of the combustion chamber. But people who have to wait for the kiln to fire and then wait for the kiln to cool, yes, the whole thing is time consuming. Shall we see what we have here? Again, a few spots. Darn. Do we want even more water? Oh, well, I guess we don't. I guess we're done. That was not supposed to happen, but this tissue paper, clearly a lot has transferred, but you can see quite a bit of color still on that, even as much as I worked it. But, you know, the dots aren't too bad. So I still want to put white dots around here. And the ones that I put on previously are just so faint. Melon is going to send me a different batch of white ones to see if maybe that works better. Stay tuned. And if, at some point I'll probably have some polka dot pots on my shop. Thanks for watching.